Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another virtual 1 Million Cups Bentonville. Thank you for tuning in from wherever you're at, whether you're watching on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, dropping the kids off at school, unless it's summer break. I'm not sure. They might be finished with that. I'm Caleb. I'm the Director of Marketing and Events for Startup Junkie and a proud 1 Million Cups Bentonville organizer. For those of you who are not familiar with 1 Million Cups, it was created on the notion that entrepreneurs discover solutions and engage with their communities over 1 million cups of coffee. So I hope everyone has or has had their caffeine this morning. The Kauffman Foundation developed 1 Million Cups in 2012 as a free program designed to educate, engage, and inspire entrepreneurs around the country. Through the power of volunteers, 1 Million Cups has grown to more than 160 communities. And our guest today has presented at probably half of those so far. He's a 1 Million Cups veteran, and we're excited to have him here. Today we have Josh Zepas of Personal Brand Clarity. Personal Brand Clarity ensures solopreneurs discover, articulate, and monetize their authentic personal brand. And we're going to let him tell you all about that. I'm not going to cut into any of his presentation. So without further ado, Josh, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Honored to be here. I haven't quite hit my millionth cup of coffee this morning. I'm only up to about 15. So I hope that powers me through this. But let me go ahead and share my screen. All right. So good morning, champions. Everyone take a deep breath. Look at the screen. Relax for a second. Clarity. Well, it's my favorite C word. All right, now buckle your seatbelts. So look, we've all been there, haven't we? Our ideal prospect walks up to us at a networking event, introduces themselves, and asks us the most important business question we're ever going to be asked. So what do you do? And then we freeze, we stumble, we fumble. If we get anything out, it's usually that borrow title that's kind of emblazoned on our business card. Or we hit them with a comprehensive, detailed list of everything we do in our own industry jargon, which no one else seems to understand. And our ideal prospect smiles and nods very politely and excuses themselves to the bathroom. Look, I know from experience, I've sent a lot of people to the bathroom. And what's strange to me is that we know we're going to get this question. We know we're going to have to answer it. And yet, time after time, we may have just burned another business first impression. Look, I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad. I just want to point out that sometimes these simple things that slip by us are also the most important things. Because like in life, you just don't get a second chance always to make that first impression. I'm Josh Zepas, and I am the identity archaeologist. And you're probably thinking, what the heck does that mean? Well, honestly, it means I have no competition, which is a lot of the reason why people hire me. Now, that's not just a fancy label. That truly describes how I take my genius and I apply it to my product and service. And I'm on a mission. Look, honestly, it's a dagger to my heart every time I see an amazing, talented solopreneur with a heart of gold and a business of gold, unable to get the time of day from their ideal prospect because they lack the skill, the message, or even just the confidence to drive the insane curiosity required to get their clients to take action and sit down and listen to them. So I want to talk about today why we struggle and then some things we can do about it. First reason why we as solopreneurs struggle to attract clients, to get business. First, we refuse to differentiate. Not that we can't, we just seem to have this weird aversion to it, almost like we're afraid to stand out. Maybe it happened early on. Maybe every inch of originality was beaten out of us as a child. Maybe we just found it easier to borrow a brand from someone else. But a lot of us are just business shy. Second reason is we don't communicate what we do clearly. We don't even know what we do. Well, we kind of know what we do in our minds. We have this great image, but we have a really hard time articulating it. And then finally, we only offer what's on the shelf. Doesn't it sometimes feel like you're trying to sell a box of Cheerios and you're trying to convince people to buy from you and not that box store down the street? Look, you might be a solopreneur, but it's crowded out there, right? We can't just shout louder over the noise of a crowded competition and expect to be noticed, especially if we're all shouting the same message. right? If all financial advisors are saying the same thing, and all real estate people are saying the same thing, and all coaches and consultants are essentially saying the same thing. So what can we do about it? I want to suggest 3 key steps to rising above this noise and shining your message and really getting out there. Stop shouting, start shining. And then hopefully this gives you a better idea of what I do as well. Step 1, discover your brand. Remember, a brand is just that gut feeling someone gets the moment you walk into a room. So the good news is you don't have to create it. You just have to let it out. Our clients are thirsty for authenticity. That means people want to know why we care before they care what we know. And it starts with us, right? So it's one thing to get your 500 business cards, your logo, your product or service, your personality, all those things, fantastic. It's just they're not a brand. But it's another thing to have clarity as to why you get out of bed every morning, your story, your vision, your mission. And all it does is just take a little digging to find it. Second step is now we can articulate the emotion. We need to take a break from verbally barfing on people with all the facts and logic and how great we are and how great our product and service is. So imagine transmitting that feeling, that image in your head, directly into the minds of others. Now, the best way to do it, honestly, telepathy. If you could just go, whoop, right, put that image in someone else's head, that's wonderful. But barring telepathy, we have to translate it into words, into feelings, into sentences, and get that translated properly to the other people. So your pitch, your website, social media must be filled with your authenticity, but also with your emotion. For example, when someone says, tell me about yourself, instead of going impersonal and getting what I call a case of the yams, I am Josh, I am a brand strategist, I am looking for this kind of person, what they're really saying is, please connect with me. Please empathize with me for just a second. Now, I realize it sounds crazy to be this open in business and honest, but what if vulnerability were not a weakness, but actually a superpower? And then finally, we can create a signature service. So I believe that we have to stop commoditizing our businesses, even if it is a commodity. So here's your product or service, right? Sexy, right? Nice little filing cabinet there. Now imagine adding your brand, your identity, your passions, your talent, your genius, putting all that on top of your commodity, and then coming up with something that's your service. Because here's the hard truth. Your commodity right now, your product or your service that you're probably offering is very likely duplicatable. Someone can come along, do it better, faster, cheaper, but you aren't duplicatable. Your story, your mission, your values, your stand, all those things that make you, you cannot be duplicated. So if you can combine those two properly, now you've got a service that not only is rare, but rare things are worth more. So you can charge a premium. So what's a journey like? Discover. First step is clarity for the solopreneur, clarity for the person, and getting that brand manifesto, that guiding document that says, this is what I stand for. I am clear. Now I've got the confidence and conviction to go share with anyone. Second step is articulate. How do I create that compelling first impression? How do I make sure people want to sit down and actually listen to me? And then finally, monetize. How do I create such a unique service that people have to come to me to get it? And now I can go actually get paid what I'm worth. My number one goal personally, I just want to raise the ROI in every conversation people have, because I don't know about you, I just want to get everyone, including myself, out of the grind of sales and into the flow of connection, which in my opinion is where the profit is. So thank you guys. It's always an honor to share with 1 Million Cups. Always looking forward to feedback. Does what I do make sense? Did it drive any kind of curiosity? And where can I share and teach this? I really, really want to get this message out there that we can be humans in business, and that is actually more profitable. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that presentation. Excuse me. So everyone watching, feel free to drop your questions in the comment section of our Facebook Live feed. There's kind of a short delay between us talking now and what goes across Facebook. So I'm going to start with the first question and ask, so tell us about your story. What prompted you to go on this journey to help others find their brand?
Great question. So I kind of grew up as the soldier. I was that, the good soldier. yes, sir, yes, ma'am. I did the traditional path. I went to school, I got grades, maybe not good grades, but I got grades, multiple degrees, safe, secure job. I was an engineer for 20 years, sitting in a great cubicle in corporate America. I was the epitome of the rat race. And I got, one day, everything I thought was right wasn't so right. I got a couple wake-up calls, and I said, I got to get out. I started seeing the matrix. I started seeing the code in the matrix. I was like, no, I can't sit here. So I jumped out and I got into entrepreneurship. And as most folks know here, it ain't the same as employee. That employee mindset does not work in entrepreneurship. And I struggled for years. I was just trying to make money. I was in the gym industry. I was in the financial industry. I kept opening up businesses. Like, how come I can't make money? And then one day, about 2 years ago, I sat down and said, you know what, Josh, what are you good at? What is your genius? What is natural for you? What is easy for you to do? And I said, I took that, I made a list of those things, and I said, okay, now how am I going to monetize it? If I had to monetize these things, what would I do? And that's how the Identity Archaeologist was born. And it's the best decision I ever made. I took the opposite approach from most people. Most people start with a business idea and they try and find a way to brand it. I started with me, I branded myself, and I found a way to monetize it. And it's just a different approach.
Awesome. And, most people think, when they think about entrepreneurship, if they haven't gone down that journey before, they think, I'm going to be my own boss. I'm going to set my own hours. It's not exactly all roses and sunshine. Who is your ideal client?
Yeah, good question. So solopreneurs is kind of the bigger, broader one, but more specifically, talented ones that have amazing offers, but they hate sales and they're stuck in a crowded industry. So they're waving their hands. They're like, I have this great stuff. I have this great service or product, but no one notices me because I don't know how to present myself. I'm not a salesperson. I don't know how to go and create a brand and do the marketing. And besides, I don't want to do that stuff. I just want to coach. I just want to help people in this way or that way. So they need that link. They need that brand that helps give them the clarity so they're less shy when it comes to networking and presenting and getting themselves out there.
I've got a couple of questions in the comments. Morgan asks, what does it look like when you work with clients? What size company organization do you prefer to work with? So I guess what that process looks like.
Yeah, great. Good question. So I work one-on-one. I'm more the concierge. So there's a lot of programs out there where you can buy a branding package and then you fill out this worksheet, right? You fill out all this stuff and then you're trying to create your own mission statement and values and your brand story and promise. I'm the one that I go in and I do all the digging and questioning. Then we ideate a little bit and I create all the brand assets. So I'm more of that one-on-one concierge. I will do all the heavy lifting. You just have to be open and honest with me and I will help you create this amazing brand. And we're going to keep going. It's not time-based. What I do is all results-based. So stage one is that brand manifesto. We're going to hit that thing, whether it takes us 2 weeks or 10 weeks, it's going to feel right, sound right, look right, be right before we're done. And that's how I work.
Awesome. Brian asked, how do you create that signature service?
Great question. So there's two aspects to it. The main aspect, and I usually have people sit down and say, okay, let's assume I'm going to pay for all your clients. I'm going to give you an endowment, and this endowment's going to pay for all your clients. What is the right thing to do for them? What is the exact thing you would do to get them from A to B that's the best thing for them long term? Because what we tend to do is we're like, well, I don't want to offer the best thing because it's too expensive. No one's going to be able to afford it. Like, scrap that. What is the right thing for your clients? What do you do best? And bring that uniqueness in, bring your genius into it, and let's create this service. Let's not be bound by what other people do. Let's not be bound by, is it too expensive? And let's see what this looks like. Then we can go into the next stage, which is how do we monetize it? How do we chunk it up and make it affordable? How do we do that? And we usually end up coming up with things that are just totally a little weird or different, but they stand out in the marketplace. You're not just another insurance salesperson. You're not just another life coach. All of a sudden, you've got something that no one else can get.
And is the approach based off of, I guess, a pre-existing or methodology? I guess Morgan has another question about the book approach, Personal Brand Clarity by Suzanne Tullian. Is there
Yeah.
like some sort of like methodology there?
No, interesting. I didn't realize there was actually a book on personal brand clarity. I'm gonna have to look this up. This is the first I've seen of this.
Awesome.
Uh, no, because actually it's something I just did for myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I hope I'm not copywriting or anything her stuff, but no, I
Hey,
just
that's
yeah.
awesome. And where would you, I guess, see yourself in 5 years? What does success look like for you in personal brand clarity?
Yeah, so let's start with my bigger vision. My bigger vision is a world of personal free trade. Now, I know that sometimes that free trade concept rubs people wrong, but I think a lot of folks don't understand it. Personal free trade to me is you do what you do best, I'll do what I do best. And because we're really fulfilling our purpose, we have excess. We're creating so much surplus that we have to share with other people, and scarcity goes away in the world. And along with scarcity, when that goes away, so goes hunger and homelessness and racism and hate and all these bad things. So that's the big vision. So 5 years is going to be, I'm working on some group programs, and I'm working on getting the message out there. So there's a book coming, there's group programs. I obviously have to leverage. I can't just do only one-on-one, and I'm working on different ways to get this message out there. And I want to get this to schools, into colleges. I want people, there's this weird concept where I call it over-professionalism, where you can't be yourself in business. You got to have this shield, this facade, this ego, right? You got to look and sound great. No, you just got to be a human being, because people want to know why you care. People want to know, like, are you real, before they care about all the stuff that you know. So I want to bring that to business. And I think we're going that direction, but we're still missing a lot of components on how to just be a human being.
Well, if anybody is watching and has more questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section here. I had a question and it kind of escaped me for a second. What has been some of your, I guess, biggest pain points so far from launch to today?
Probably the biggest, and this is interesting, it's been marketing. I'm a shy, introverted, negative, skeptical ex-engineer, so I don't like marketing. I don't like sales, the traditional thought of what sales is. And I found that to be the case with a lot of my clients as well. They really dislike marketing, and I'm working on a new concept called skip marketing. I just got the domain name. I'm working on the course, and the idea is, what if you have such a compelling first impression and a solid brand message that you can build those initial relationships, and you can go right from there into a sales conversation? Because the normal flow is branding, which is your message, marketing, which is your amplifier, sales conversation. I want to get rid of that marketing piece for coaches that are making less than $500,000 a year, or they're brand new in business. Why not go from the conversation right to, from the introduction to a sales conversation, all based on just being human, and not have to do the impersonal marketing, the funnels, the paid advertisements, all those things, until you're at a point where you do need to leverage. Because that was my mistake. I won't even tell you how much, man. 6 figures. Let's just say I spent 6 figures on marketing when I shouldn't have spent that much money on marketing, because I didn't need it. I thought I did, and I was taking a lot of bad advice. So that was probably the biggest thing I would do differently if I had to. So I'm trying to help other entrepreneurs avoid that and getting into the trap of marketing too soon.
Well, Facebook doesn't want to hear that. They want you to spend as much money as possible to boost those posts.
They got some of my money too. That's okay. I've earned the right to say that about Facebook.
Let's see. It looks like we don't have any more questions right off the bat. You know what the I guess grand finale question is for 1 million cups. What can we as a community here in Northwest Arkansas, or as the 1 million cups community, do to help you, Josh?
Yes, thank you for that question. And I'm going to pull up one slide. So let's see if I can do this. I'm on a mission, personal mission, to help 100. Actually, it's more than this now. I've already passed the 100, but I'm still going. I want to help solopreneurs master their compelling first impression, which is the answer to the question, what do you do? And I'm doing this for free. So the best way to help me is let me help you. And what this is a 30-minute one-on-one conversation. I get to dig and ask questions and learn about your business and your mission. And I real time will help you create the answer to the question, what do you do? That's a compelling, effective, persuasive way to do it, as opposed to the yams disease and people stumbling and fumbling over it. So if anybody wants to take advantage of that, or if you know anyone, joshzepas.com/the mission, and register there. Again, it's all free. This is not a sales whammy thing. I absolutely abhor hard sales and tricking people into stuff like that. So it's not a sales thing. It's just we create this business asset, and you have something you can run with and do the right thing.
Awesome. My next question was how those watching and listening can get in touch with you if they want to follow up with you. But I'm assuming that link would be the best bet.
That link's fine, and then also social media at Josh Zepas and no one else has my name, so I promise you're not going to get confused with anyone else.
We can find you easy enough. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Joshua, appreciate you for joining us for this virtual 1 Million Cups Bentonville. Look forward to seeing progress with personal brand clarity moving forward, and you're welcome to come back anytime.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Appreciate everyone, and I love the feedback and questions. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll see you next week.